Hello everyone, and welcome to another Mondays with Michelle video. This week's topic, Tithe Maps. We'll look at a number of websites offering free access to these maps and the related apportionment details. Let's get started. The Tithe Maps show the owners and occupiers of land for a particular area, and the Tithe Records are recording the amount that each person had to pay as the tithe to the church. So I've got some websites here that give background information. They basically had to pay 10% of their income or payment in kind. If they were farmers, they would give 10% of their crop to the church. So these records are really useful, and there are both tithe maps, which show the plots of land, and what they call the apportionment records, which are the actual accounting listing the names and how much they paid. And it also gives a description of the land. So you will see the extent of their property, both in terms of size, in terms of the type of building, etc. So it can be really useful not only to place your ancestor for a particular time, you can place them in that parish or in that location, also to give you an understanding of what kind of dwelling they had, what was the extent of their property. So you will find that this particular website called Tithe Maps has some really good background information. And if you look at the menu bar up top, so we've got the About menu, which gives you some really good information on what the tithe maps and the apportionment books contain and how they can help you with your research. So that's one of the first sites I wanted to show you. As far as other background information, the National Archives does have some research guides on tithes, but the maps and the apportionment books, although they are available at the National Archives to consult, they are not digitized. So if we take a look, for example, at the Tithe Map search facility, I chose to just click Browse, or you could search. I could search, for instance, on Hovingham, and it will bring up the list of matches. So if I clicked on this first one here, what you will notice is it says on the right in the green box, it's available from the Genealogist, which is a paid website. So the maps have all been digitized by the Genealogist and are available online through that website, but it is a paid subscription. What I'm going to show you for most of this session is where you can access a lot of the maps for free. There is another guide that you may find useful, Enclosure Awards and Maps, and their point is, as land was being enclosed, a lot of the tithes were basically abolished. So you will not necessarily find tithe maps or tithe records for portions of land that were recently enclosed. So that's why these enclosure awards may also be helpful in that they were doing the same thing. When land was being enclosed, they would map it, they would have to identify the boundaries. And although these documents may not give exactly the same types of details. For instance, you may not find the occupiers of the lands, but you would certainly find the owner of the land. So it's worth looking at the enclosure awards information and this research guide if you can't find a tithe map or tithe apportionment information for a particular area or for your ancestors. I mentioned the Genealogist website. They do have a useful presentation, a video here talking about the Tithe Records and what their website has. You can search the records online, so you can fill out this search information here, and it will give you a list of results, so you can at least see whether they have something for your ancestor, but you will not be able to view the map or view the apportionment details unless you have that paid subscription. So just to give you an idea what the other subscription websites have. So FindMyPast, I went into search all record sets and typed in tithe. You can see they've got some information for Wiltshire, and they've got this 1831 tithe defaulters. Ancestry has some information for Dorset and some information for Ireland. So neither one of the common websites that we access has an extensive collection of tithe maps. The Genealogist is by far the best. It has the entire collection of tithe maps digitized. FamilySearch does have a research wiki page on Tithe Records, and I've got these links in the handout. They also have a large collection of tithe apportionment records. Some of them have been digitized. Some of them are available for you to view from home. So for instance, I typed in the keyword of tithe, specified online records, and you can see there's quite a lengthy list. We have 10 pages of results. I clicked on this first one, tithe appointment for Woodsets 1840 for Yorkshire, and it brought me to the film. And I just have to sign in again because it's timed out my access there. And the reason I'm showing you this one is you notice there is no key on the camera, meaning I can browse that image from home. And I've got the image already set up. This is the entry. So if I was to click forward, so you notice it's showing us the landowner, the occupier, the description of the premises. So Mrs. Salmon has a cottage and garden. She's the occupier of the property owned by Hannah William, this first entry. So that's useful, being able to look at some of the records online through FamilySearch. But there are other websites that offer the maps and the apportionment information for free. So for example, the West Yorkshire Archives Service, which I presented on previously, as part of its holdings, it does have tithe maps online for Bradford and Leeds, and you'll see the links up top here. So if we scroll down, you notice I've chosen the Bradford ones. These are the lists of maps. If I click on the map for Idle, and I have it set up here, it brings me to this detail page. And if I scroll down, I have the tithe map, and I've also got this button that says download the data. That's the apportionment data that is the details of the plots listed on the map. So if we take a look at the apportionment data, this is what it looks like. And I did search on Renton, and you can see there's a number of Renton entries on this screen. And again, it shows the owner. This number on the left is the plot number. So the owner is Thomas Renton. He's also the occupier. And the description is plantation. Some of the entries we've got here: a lane, a field, croft, close. So you get some sense of the type of property. And over here, it's giving you information. If I just scroll to the top to see the titles, this is the size in acres, roods, and perches. So you get quite a bit of information there. And if I go to the map, I've actually zoomed it in. So Thomas Renton was in plot number 1022. He owned a number of them. He owned 17, 22. So you can see all of the plots. And there is a modern map beside it that you can zoom in to see roughly where that area is on a modern map. So that's really useful. Some other counties that have their tithe maps online, and I'm just going to run through some examples so that you can get a sense of what's available. So Cheshire Archives has something similar. You can select a particular parish. So in this case, I selected Agden Malpas. And when I click on a particular numbered plot, this information box pops up with the apportionment information. So if I click over here, I'm getting the details, the apportionment details for that particular plot. And Devon has a similar arrangement. In their case, you select a parish from the list, and you end up viewing a detail page. If you scroll down, it will show you the parish you selected. In this case, I had selected Ashwater from the list, and it brought me to this page where it gives me some information. And I have zoomed in on the map. They also have the apportionment information. And the apportionment information, you can download it either as a PDF file, view it, or as an Excel CSV file. And I chose to do it as an Excel file. So I'll just show you. If we look here in the Excel file, and I'm looking at, let me just go back to that map, and let's look at one of the particular entries. So we have a plot number here. Let me scroll up a bit. Plot 1030. So if I wanted to find out who was in plot 1030, because I've set up this spreadsheet and I've just filtered it, I can scroll through, or I could do a find to locate it. So that is John Rogers and others. Marianne Cohen would be the owner, John Rogers and others the occupier. It's cottage and garden, and there's the size of the property. So again, very similar type of information. Now, the one thing I will say about this website, if we go back down, I'm just going to show you. If I select that parish and then submit, what you will notice when the display first comes up, your map is very small. In this case, it's basically almost hidden from view. So what you have to do you see how the map is being dragged around? So a lot of times the map image will be quite tiny and it'll be in the lower left-hand corner. You may have to drag it to the center and then enlarge it. So they do mention that down at the bottom of the page here. Now, if you are looking for Welsh tithe maps, this is a great site. And similarly, you select a village and you are then brought into the map. So I selected one of the villages, brought me into the detailed map. And what's nice about this is, again, we've got tithe map overlay. You can hide or display the markers. But if you leave the markers in place, when you click on one of them, that's giving you the apportionment information. That's basically what you're looking at, is the apportionment details. So that's a really nice website. And not to be left out, Lancashire does have some tithe map and apportionment information online. It's more limited. They have individual kind of information pages for certain areas. So it's not all of them. They've got these particular areas. So that's the Lancashire. And Warwickshire does have a tithe apportionment database. They also sell the digital maps. So for theirs, if you take a look, they have a search page where you can search for one of your ancestors. And if I click on a name, it shows the details of the apportionment. So you can basically flip between the index and the search screen. Sussex has their maps online, East Sussex, through the Keep website. I really like this website. It's very well organized. They have what's called their guidance document, which is basically online help on how to use their tool, which is great, and you can download that. Basically, you just click on this link here, East Sussex Online Tithe Map Viewer. You come to this screen and you can search on a place. In this case, I typed in Aldrington. You can see on the right, if I just move some of my controls out of the way, the layer list we're using is Tithe Maps, and we've got these options selected. So if I click somewhere on the map, if I click here, for example, it's showing me the layer name. And if I say view details, and now I want to view apportionment, so I can either show the map, I want to view the apportionment. This is all the details of the apportionment records. There is another website by the Kent Archaeological Society. They have apportionments, again, alphabetically by place. So you would click on a particular letter of the alphabet and go to that particular section and select one of the parishes. And when I did that, I clicked on Addisham. So I get this message here, this link, Addisham Award Schedule. I click on that and it displays the schedule. And again, you're seeing the owner, the occupier, the plot number, which you can reference on the map, and the description. Gloucestershire also has a database. They have on this website, they've got the tithe apportionments. The maps are at a different website called KnowYourPlace. So I'll show you that in a minute. So for Gloucestershire, this is what their search page looks like. If I enter in Dawson, here are the details of the apportionment information. And I mentioned KnowYourPlace. It's an interesting website. It has digitized tithe maps for a number of different locations. And here is the list of locations. So it does have the digitized tithe maps for South Gloucestershire, for Gloucestershire, Devon, Bristol, North Somerset, Somerset, Wiltshire. So that can be very handy. And to give you an idea what it looks like, this is the particular map for Wiltshire. And what I did, when you go to click on one of those names, you come to this screen. And over on the right, you've got base maps. So you have a comparison map and a main map. So what we have done here is our comparison map. I scrolled, here's the list. I scrolled through the list and picked 1840s Wiltshire tithes. That's what's shown on the left here. The comparison, the main map is the 2019 base map. So the nice thing is I can drag this slider. So if I'm looking, for example, at plot 263, if I just move the slider to the left, that's this area here on a modern map. So I like that feature. It makes it really easy to compare. And the last few sites, British History Online, when I searched on tithe, does have some tithe assessment documents to look at. The Staffordshire Past Track website does have tithe maps. So you would click on an entry or click this details link, and you're brought to the detail page. And the way they work it is you've got these links over on the right, Tithe Awards Index and the Tithe Awards background information. So if you click on the Tithe Awards Index, you're seeing those owner-occupier details for that particular place. I hope you enjoyed this week's video. Don't forget to download the handout. You'll find the link in the video description at the bottom of your screen. You may need to click Show More to see the handout links. Thanks for watching.